ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. I am recording this message in between Shiva Asar B'Tammuz and Tisha B'Av. A few days ago we commemorated Shiva Asar B'Tammuz, the 17th day in Tammuz. What does that commemorate really? According to our tradition, the wall around the city of Jerusalem was pierced on that date. And 3 weeks later, the Beit HaMikdash was burned, was destroyed. So beginning with the piercing of the wall around the city of Jerusalem is that the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash really begins. So it's a period of 3 weeks of remembrance, of sorrow of what happened in those days. And Shiva Asar B'Tammuz is a day of fasting. According to our rabbis in the Talmud, it is not only the piercing of the wall of Jerusalem that took place on that date. On that date also the tablets of the law were broken, a Torah was burned, many bad things happened to the Jewish people. The daily sacrifices ceased in the Beit HaMikdash on such a date. So that we are not commemorating only one episode, we are commemorating other episodes as well. Says Maimonides, fasting isn't enough. Fasting has to come together with teshuvah. You also have to have some kind of reflection. You have to have a return to your sources. In other words, it isn't sufficient just to fast. You must also pray. You must also look into yourself. What have you done wrong? Which brings me to the following. Who is the one that destroyed the Beit HaMikdash really? It was the Babylonians. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylonia in those days, in the 6th century before the Common Era, that destroyed the Beit HaMikdash. And in the 1st century of the Common Era, it was the Romans that destroyed the 2nd Beit HaMikdash. So we have exactly the names of those that are really responsible for the destruction. Yet, when the Talmud speaks about it, that's not the main point. The main point is, what did we do wrong in order to merit the destruction? According to our rabbis, the first Beit HaMikdash was destroyed because there was idolatry within the walls of the Beit HaMikdash. I remember the first time that I read Haftarah, I think it's on the 2nd day of Pesach, where it says that a king threw out all the idols that were in existence in the Beit HaMikdash with all their priests. And I couldn't understand, how is it possible that in the Beit HaMikdash you had Avodah Zarah? It seems that was the beginning really of our history. It wasn't very easy to transmit belief in one God when the rest of the world were idol worshippers, were polytheists. They believed in many different forces in this world. It took a long time until this idea really penetrated the geist of the Jewish people. So our rabbis say, you know why the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed? Because of our fault, because we were not pure in our monotheism, because we still allowed idol worship within the confines of the Jewish people. Interesting. Instead of saying that it's somebody else who is at fault, we always look into ourselves, introspection. We failed somewhere, that's why it happened. Why was the 2nd Beit HaMikdash destroyed? Our rabbis say, because of sinat chinam, gratuitous hate. You know, we brought tales one to another because of different things. The Talmud has a story of Kamsa bar Kamsa, how somebody came to a party that he really wasn't invited and he thought he was invited, wanted to stay there and he wasn't allowed to because of little things, of envy, of not being respectful of the dignity of other people. So our rabbis teach us that great tragedies to the Jewish people happened because of us. We have to look into ourselves. The others are merely agents of God that bring about destruction. But if we would change our ways, certain things would not happen to me. Most of us are ready to blame others for our shortcomings. The teacher is no good. The exam was too difficult. Our friend was disloyal. You should think, what have you done? If something doesn't go right, look into yourself. Maybe the shortcoming is on your part. Because if you feel well with yourself, you'll do very well. I remember reading once that why does one go on a trip? because you're tired, too many pressures where you are, and you want to get away from the environment in which you find yourself. One big problem: you take yourself wherever you go. If you feel well here, you'll feel well there also. Make sure that you feel well with yourself. I'm okay. If I feel well with myself, you're okay. Then I'll think that you're okay also.